Robert Pattinson is Batman, as Warner Brothers, according to Deadline, has approved Robert Pattinson for the role in the upcoming Matt Reeves-directed film The Batman, or at least that's what we're told it's called. Anyway, he's going to star as Batman. He had been considered the front runner because apparently Matt Reeves liked him. So I feel that pretty much means it was probably done some time ago. The studio itself apparently was torn between him and Nicholas Hoult. Now, Nicholas Hoult played Beast in the X-Men movies. The sort of second round, he was the younger Beast. The original was Kelsey Grammer. and there's one more film, which is Dark Phoenix, and he's in that. And who knows, maybe that's why they thought, well, he's attached and seen as one of the X-Men, and to suddenly have him be Batman, maybe that was a problem. Who knows? But I don't know. And looking at the two, I thought Holt might have made a better one. And I was thinking in terms of who would be the younger version of the Ben Affleck Batman. And between the two, I thought that Holt fit the bill, at least appearance-wise. As for the acting ability and capturing the character between the two, I have really no idea. I knew Holt from the X-Men films, and that's a different character. As for Pattinson, I never bothered with any of the Twilight movies. It was not for me. And so I really can't speak to his abilities. I just chalked him up as, teen soap opera type pretty boy. And that was it. But, when it comes to Batman, we go through this every time. All the way back to Michael Keaton being cast, and I remember all that uproar. And he did all right, even though those films are interesting, but they didn't quite clinch it, in my opinion. But Keaton was not the problem. He did all right as Batman and Bruce Wayne, and a lot of people still love him and think he was the definitive Batman and all this type of thing. And then later on, there was Heath Ledger cast as the Joker, and even I was one of the ones thinking, "Oh, come on, what is this?" Again, I thought he was just a pretty boy. And boy, was I wrong. So it could be that Pattinson will do a good job. The idea of it being a detective story, I think, is really good, because that's basically an area of Batman that we really haven't seen in any of these versions of him on the screen. And so it's like, well, do something different. Don't just keep doing the same thing. And this is an angle that really hasn't been captured. There are little, instances of it in the stories that we got, but as a complete mystery and stuff like that, that sounds like a good idea. But one of the things that is a little disturbing for what I want, which I guess I'm in the minority on this, is that apparently this will not have anything to do with the DCEU, at least according to this announcement from Deadline, where they end the article by saying, "This film will in no way carry on the work that Ben Affleck did as the older Batman in Batman vs. Superman and Justice League." Now, it just all of a sudden slaps that on there. Going forward, it had pretty much been said that it is a standalone film in the sense that it's a Batman movie, and but that's similar to like what Aquaman. But Aquaman is their first really big success, even though I think Wonder Woman was the best they've done of these movies. But Aquaman hit the $1 billion mark and probably caught them completely off guard. But that movie is clearly still set in that storyline. So the idea of this Batman, which they said he's a younger Batman, and that's what they wanted. Well, the idea going forward was, it would be this younger Batman because it's told in the past, and that's the only separation. So I don't really see why it has to be completely, it has nothing to do with that, unless they're still worried about the Batman versus Superman stink. I don't know. But it's kind of just go forward. Aquaman would have had that stink, wouldn't he? And yet, look what happened. You know, if you've got a good, strong mystery with Batman in there, it'll work. And it doesn't matter that, he'll later grow up to be Ben Affleck. Which, there's a lot of comments in here that, Ben Affleck was bad enough. And now this guy, Ben Affleck did a good job as Batman. He didn't write the thing. He didn't put in the strange plot holes and whatnot that were in those stories. But his performance, I don't have a problem with it. And I was kind of bummed that we don't get to see a full-on Batman film with his Batman, and that's too bad. And the other thing was, it would have been kind of cool if he did the bookend idea that was kind of floated around, where this is a story in the past, and they pretty recently said the movie will be set in the 90s. Why do that if it doesn't have anything to do with older Batman from, the Batman vs. Superman and all that? So, because if this is a new Batman, then he's just the new Batman and you're moving forward and it doesn't matter. Now, I don't know if it's still connected with a shared universe, which is also a version we hadn't seen until the Ben Affleck Batman. That's another thing to consider because, well, we've had several versions of standalone Batman franchises. And, why bother? Here with another rumor is that the Wonder Woman movie will be a reset for the whole thing. And going forward, then you can have your new Batman that's younger for whatever reason. I don't know how. The plot apparently involves Wonder Woman trying to bring Steve Trevor back from the dead and change his time and all this sort of thing. And I don't know how that would result in a Batman being born much later, where he's in his early 30s instead of his 40s or whatever. But they just, it's just something happened. Slap it up to move forward, but it's really unnecessary. You had some bad movies, then you had some good ones. Just move forward and just come up with better stories that are more solid. But even that's not quite necessary because, there's plot holes all over the place in Marvel movies. And it's one of those things where it's a strange deal where DC, you're just not the cool kids. You're just not. So I don't know. But a solid film, and that's pretty much the lesson of Aquaman, was not in the glitz and the special effects and Momoa and all that, but it's also in its simplicity. It was a basic adventure movie and an origin story, and done well. There was a few problems I had with it, but all in all, a solid film. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. And if they can keep that with Batman, then it's Batman. It'll work. As for Pattinson, it just screams in horror and like each time, but he'll probably work out. So there you go. Robert Pattinson is the new Batman, or the old Batman. But if Deadline's to be believed, this is completely separate and apparently its own standalone thing, and could produce 2 more films in a franchise, and then they're off with somebody else. I don't know, but I've longed to see the actual DC Comics Batman on screen, and we really haven't. And to be honest, the Affleck Batman was the closest you got. That's just the way it is. Probably should have just done Dark Knight Returns with him, just do that and say that, this is in the future and all the other DC films are in the past. And that's what it was, because it borrowed heavily from Dark Knight Returns. Why not just do it? But oh well, whatever. All right, so there you go. The sparkly vampire is Batman. Thank you for watching and listening. Say, while you're here, why not like and subscribe? And for those of you who have subscribed, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. And also, while you're here, yes, that's right, check out that link description below. That'll take you to my podcast at RadioMisfits.com and the links to my many stores that have plenty of goodies for you.